Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, a 79-year-old woman is Tasmania's latest coronavirus casualty. It comes as the state's northwest has been told it will need to face another week of tough restrictions. Amid the anguish, though, there is hope the tide is turning.
They're the hardest words he has to say.
Unfortunately, I once again have to stand here and let you know that another person has died, a 79-year-old northwest woman.
Her death at the Launceston General Hospital brings the state's virus toll to 9. Hundreds of tests yesterday yielded the number everyone had been hoping for.
Overnight, we had the circumstance of no more positive tests. This is the first time in around 3 weeks.
It's still not enough to relax rules in the northwest. The region will need to endure another week of closed retail until the 3rd of May. Schools will also be shut until the 4th.
Essentially, that means that our students will miss out on 4 days of schooling to occur next week.
The largest cohort of 1,000 quarantined Northwest health workers are expected to be released on Sunday. They'll need to return a COVID negative test before returning to work. All workers who face the public, like teachers and police, are being told to be tested, even if they don't have symptoms. Meanwhile, the memo to hospital staff in the north and northwest has instructed them not to accept food or other gifts. Despite strong community support, the memo says non-essential visitors and activities need to be limited. Overall, Tasmanian cases remain at 205. 106 have recovered, 90 are active, 13 are in hospital, 1 is in intensive care. Authorities want to expand the scope of the testing to leave no stone unturned.
The northwest is the absolute priority, but we do need to increase testing in the north and the south.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Global travel restrictions have left 2 Sri Lankan cricketers stranded in Tasmania after another flight home was cancelled overnight. The pair has been trying to return to their families for weeks, but an outbreak of the virus in their home country means they're relying on the goodwill of their local club here.
Sri Lanka's Dilan Jayalaf has starred for the Hadspen Cricket Club this season, even taking out the Best and Fairest award for the entire league. But his innings in Tasmania is taking far longer than expected.
I want to go home because my family missing me, my grandma, my mom.
He's run out of options for now after another flight to Colombo was cancelled last night when the country extended a ban on incoming flights. Fellow countryman Tanuka Dabare is in the same boat and shares the same feeling.
I really need to go home because I miss my family, I miss my friends.
The pair is here on a special sporting visa, which the club is desperately trying to extend. They're being housed by the club as they wait for a window to return home.
We've had to apply for an extension for Dylan for a visitor's visa to allow him to stay in the country.
Making matters worse for the young guns, the pandemic has shut down Sri Lanka's premier domestic league, which would normally be a vital source of income. The players say they're lucky to have the club's goodwill as a safety net, although it certainly isn't the season ending they were expecting after helping Hadspen win its 2nd premiership in a row.
Good people around me and they look after me so well.
Yeah, great friends, great family. They look after us 1,000 times.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Tomorrow will be an Anzac Day unlike any other. Social distancing measures have seen the cancellation of services here, across the country and the world. But there are still ways to honour an important day and the sacrifice of our service personnel. Earlier, I spoke to Robert Dick, the RSL's state president. Well, thanks for joining us. Now, first, I guess you had no other choice but to cancel Anzac Day services. How hard was that decision?
Look, it was a very hard decision to actually make, but when you take into account that our veterans and a lot of people attending the dawn service in particular are in that vulnerable group, it was the only decision we could actually make. Public safety is the most paramount in our mind.
How true. Now, this year's Anzac Day is of course going to be very different. How should we as Tasmanians mark the occasion?
What we're asking of Tasmanians and right across Australia actually is for people to join the Light Up the Dawn service, which the whole thing will start at 5:30 with a live telecast from the Australian War Memorial. But then at 5:55, we're asking people to stand on their driveways or their balconies or somewhere in their yard and either light a candle or use their mobile phone or a torch and turn that on and spend a moment's silence in reflection commemorating the service of all those that have served our nation.
It is such an important day. Just finally, Robert, one more question, but without that face-to-face and those events tomorrow, are you at all worried about the welfare of veterans at this time of year, and particularly tomorrow?
Look, we are concerned about our veterans all the time, and I'm sure they appreciate the fact that we're in unprecedented times, and the way we're commemorating Anzac Day and asking people to commemorate is the best way to show them the respect that we have for them, the service they provided, and all those that have gone before them.
Thank you, Robert, lest we forget. Robert Dick there, RSL Tasmania President, thank you. An inquest into a Tasmanian mining death is expected to be presented with around 30 evidence exhibits. The coroner heard Nathaniel Owen Beasley was undertaking scaling operations when he fell to his death at the Savage River Mine southwest of Burnie on March 17, 2017. His body was recovered 4 days later. Today, a case management conference was held over video as the matter progresses towards an inquest. It's been adjourned until next month. Despite the coronavirus pandemic, Tasmania's housing market has so far remained stable, but experts say they're bracing for impact. New Real Estate Institute data has revealed house sales across the state dropped by around 1% over the past 3 months. The rental market remains similar to previous reports, and Tasmania's vacancy rate is still extremely low. But the Institute says next quarter will tell a very different story in the wake of the virus, with some agents already seeing inquiries into properties dropping by half. Plans to build a world-first tropical rock lobster hatchery here in Tasmania are one step closer to getting off the ground after almost 2 decades of research. An application has now been lodged with Council for the Taroona facility to enable the lobster's production on a commercial scale for the first time.
Inside a dark lab just like this, scientists are preparing to change the future of the world's rock lobster industry. That's happening right here in Tasmania.
Tasmanian scientists has discovered how to successfully breed tropical rock lobsters at this institute. This is groundbreaking research on a global seafood industry level.
Previously, these lobsters were only fished in the ocean, and it's taken decades to work out how to produce them inside on a commercial scale.
Their oceanic behaviour is quite hard to translate that to something that you put into a hatchery situation.
We've got larvae culture, we've got food manufacturing areas, we've got plant systems.
We've already got a team in place of 25. Over the life of this project, we'll continue to have a number of PhD candidates that will go through the program.
Now they're ready to open a commercial hatchery on this Taroona site. And today that project is one step closer to reality, with the company lodging its development application.
We're aware of the community and also Kimberley Council, what their concerns are, and we've tried to address them.
We're very conscious that this is not a fish factory. It is a world-class hatchery.
It's now hoped these tiny lobsters will spend their first 4 months here before being taken to Townsville to grow to a marketable size, meeting rising global demand.
There are limits to how much can be caught in the wild. This is about bolstering those stocks and being able to meet demand and fill a void in the market.
If all goes to plan, the facility will open in the next 18 months. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
The pandemic had led to some worrying behaviour reported by Tasmanian charities. The 10 Lives Cat Centre is still accepting donations of goods, but is seeing mass loads of unusable rubbish dumped at its Margate shop, costing the service, which helps fund the shelter in Newtown, unnecessary money.
That's directly affecting the charitable work of 10 Lives, in that the cost of removing that rubbish to the tip is impacting on the work that we do.
Around 30 bags of rubbish were found at the centre just last night. Tasmanians are spending more time than ever online as the coronavirus pandemic continues. NBN has revealed peak data usage during business hours has grown by more than 75% since social distancing was introduced. Usage more than doubled at times on Good Friday as more people stayed home over the Easter break. The solemn sound of the bugle will be replaced by a more modern instrument at a dawn service tomorrow. Launceston guitarist Tom Kendall will strum the last post as a tribute to his veteran grandfather.
At the going down of the sun and in the morning, this is how Tom Kendall will remember them. He'll play his rock and roll rendition of The Last Post from his balcony in one of many dawn services taking place in driveways and dwellings nationwide.
It's good to really foster a sense of community, especially in these times where there's a lot going on.
Anzac Day is special to Tom. His grandfather served in Korea in the 50s. This gentle guitar riff is his way of honouring his memory.
Having that family connection, I think, makes it extra special to me.
The 22-year-old is a natural, learning the riff in a day. Luckily, neighbours are on board for the daybreak display.
Look, I'll crank it up loud enough for the closest buildings to hear, but it won't be overwhelming.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. A windy day today with a few showers over the west, far south and King Island. All the population centres reached 17 and no more. Maximum temperatures did sit below average. Friendly Beaches out top with 19. Flinders Island, St Helens and Grove 18 today. King Island and Ouse 17 degrees. Strawn 15. Lyowini 11. Mid to low level cloud is over the west of the state today. A mountain wave pattern developed across the rest of Tasmania. Cloud is over parts of Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland and southern South Australia. High level cloud travelling under a high pressure system just moving towards the Bight. Tomorrow a northwesterly flow over the state ahead of the next cold front. Troughs remain over the mainland as a high moves over Western Australia. Strong winds again up to 25 knots but to 30 knots over the west and south. Lighter winds over the Central Plateau lakes. A strong wind warning from Tasman Island to Sandy Cape and also from St Helens Point to Wineglass Bay. Anzac Day around the state. Hobart cloudy and 19, 16 for Medina, a shower or two. Oatlands cloudy and 16. Launceston tomorrow 17 degrees with a shower or two. Showers for Devonport 17 the top as well, 11 the high for Lyowini again. Burnie showers and 17. Strawn showers and windy 17 degrees, 16 the top for Marrawar with the same sort of forecast, bit of rain in the air. Cloudy in the east, St Helens 18, 19 for Swansea and Orford. On Sunday, showers easing and contracting to the west and far south in the afternoon. Temperatures between 16 and 18 degrees. No warmer on Monday and showery over the west and later the north. And on Tuesday, Hobart expecting 20 with partly cloudy conditions over the east and south. Showers for the west and north. A shower in Perth tomorrow. Rain developing for Adelaide. 22 and partly cloudy in Melbourne, but still fine, sunny and mainly warm for the centres further north. Cloudy over Hobart at 16 at the moment, 13 in Launceston, Devonport partly cloudy and 14. And for those attending their driveways at dawn tomorrow, temperatures will be above the April average by about 3 or 4 degrees, but it may be a little breezy. Some regions may also witness some precipitation. Certainly not as uncomfortable, Kim, as the conditions faced by those that we will be honouring.
So very true. Thank you so much, Murph. That's all your news for now. Don't forget to join Rachel and the team over the weekend. I'll see you Monday. Good night.